A lot of people like to focus on, what's the most important task that you need to get done. Focus on that during the day, and then it's, okay, so what's the sort of second most important thing, and then etc, etc, etc.
I'm on a journey to create the greatest movie experience in the world. While I'm carving out my filmmaking entrepreneurial path, I want to help you create yours. Let's make some movies.
Hello everyone, James Martin here. I'm here to help filmmakers to grow and succeed in their career, as well as how to improve their movies. Today is sort of a follow-up video where I talked about how to deal with burnout. So this is short-term burnout because it can be accomplished by essentially take a small break. What I recommend is the moment you feel burnout of any kind, take a nap. If you're just not feeling passionate, if you're feeling just exhausted and overwhelmed, take a nap right away. I don't care if it's in the middle of the day. Take whatever amount of sleep that you need. And by the way, if you're interested in watching that video, I'll link it up in the cards and the description down below. Today's video it's sort of around the lines of how to prevent burnout. It's more about how to have a balanced work life. Meaning, how do you balance your work with playtime, with you time and breaks? The reason why I'm sort of following this up from burnout is because by having a balanced life where you have a good amount of work and play and sleep and rest, which is also important, it allows us to actually prevent burnout because you're actually having a good lifestyle. It's consistent, it's well balanced. So you're always energetic and focused, and you're very productive and happy, which is important. Now, just before we get started, just a very key message I should bring to you is the whole key about having a balanced life is to find what works for you. There's no template, there's no rules. It's about what works for you. So you gotta do some exploring. You gotta just try some things. And when I say find what works for you, this comes to how much sleep do you need? Do you need 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep? I need 8. Some people don't need that many. What works, but you need to find something that works for you, right? What time should you go to bed? What time should you wake up? Are you the most productive in the morning? So can you set aside your more harder tasks, the ones that you're not extremely passionate about, for the morning, and you just grind those out? And maybe you can set aside evening and nighttime tasks, if you do want to set that time aside, for more of the creative side, right? I set aside my writing for the nights. I know other people who set aside creative moments for evenings and night times, right? And that's just up to you. Maybe you don't want to work in the evenings and the night. That's cool. Maybe you only want to work in the mornings and afternoons. Maybe you're working in the afternoon and evening and you only have mornings to yourself. So that changes things. How many days do you want to take off? Do you want to take off 1 day a week? Do you want to take off 2 days a week? I certainly recommend that you don't, work nonstop 7 days a week. Have some form of time off. Otherwise, it will deal with burnout. I know, because I've been there. So I'm telling you, have some rest time. All right? But the key thing is to find something that works for you. Now, we're going to go into some tips. I'm going to make some recommendations. And we're going to start with number 1, which is schedule your work. So I sort of touched base on this a little bit. And the idea is you're going to find the slots of times in the day that you're most energetic and that you can focus on your work. So most of the time, everyone is dead driven first thing in the morning. Now, when I say first thing in the morning, maybe it's as soon as you hop out of bed, maybe it takes a few hours to sort of roll into the day. But after you get over that hump, a lot of people just like to set aside all the tasks they don't really enjoy, whether that's something to do with finance or projects or homework or, just some form of work. They do that in the morning so that they just grind and get it all done. And then in other parts of the day, maybe the afternoon, that's where you can sort of ease up through the day. Maybe do something that you actually enjoy. For me, I usually like to do video editing in the afternoon, right? In the evenings, I like to just, be creative and do some writing. Maybe that's a good time for you, but the idea is you got to schedule your work. What I highly recommend that you do is set aside a bit of time at the beginning of the week to create a task list for that given week. Figure out your schedule, right? As I mentioned before, figure out when are you going to work and figure out the times of the day that you're going to work. Then think about the tasks that you need to get done that week. And this may take some testing because you might realize that it's going to take X number of time to accomplish this task. Maybe you need more time for this task. Maybe instead of, having this massive task, maybe you just break it down into smaller sections, right? So you're going to plan out your week. I'm going to accomplish this at this day at this time. And when I say time, I mean set aside morning, afternoon, evening. Those times, right? And maybe you need to get specific, like maybe you have to leave at 10 in the morning. What can you get done before 10 in the morning, right? Schedule your work. Next tip, schedule time for play. Not enough people do this. It's when we get to do something fun. When I say play, that's what I mean. Do something fun. It could be reading a book. It could be listening to music, playing a game, watching TV, watching a movie, right? It could be anything. Do something that you enjoy, that just helps you feel passionate and just have fun, right? Schedule that time, So for me, I always try and take Sundays off, period. So on a Sunday, I'll sleep in. And that's when I'll just watch movies or play games or do whatever. I'll usually not edit and do any work on a Sunday, right? I'll set that aside for Monday or whatever. Make sure you schedule times where you can just have some fun, right? For you, maybe you want to take evenings off, and that's fine if that works for you. Maybe you don't want to necessarily work all day. Great. Set aside some time where you want to work, set aside where you need to play. Now, along with scheduling times for play, think about your breaks. This is also important. You don't necessarily need to work for several hours straight. You gotta find something that works for you. I usually recommend make work shifts 45 minutes to an hour and a half, somewhere in that range. And then after you're done that shift, follow it up with a 15-minute break. So again, for me in the morning, I like to work from 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. right? And then I'll do a 15-minute break, like a snack break, grab some tea, do whatever. Then I'll continue working from 10:45 till noon. Then I'll have a lunch break. That system works for me. Again, you gotta find something that works for you. You're not me, so you gotta find, when are you most energetic? How long can you work for? How often do you need breaks? How long do those breaks need to be? Maybe you can't work in the morning. Maybe you're in school and maybe you have a work shift. Who knows? Find out when your off time is and then schedule stuff in there. Again, make sure that you're not overworking or scheduling times for rest. And again, you want to make sure you schedule in your sleep. So if you require 6, 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep or whatever, that is scheduled in there. You are in bed by this time and you don't wake up until this time. My final tip, especially if, let's say you're trying to get certain tasks done on this time of this day, and maybe you don't. Maybe it just, something came up or it took longer. Don't stress about it, reschedule it. Stuff happens, alright, this is life. You know what I mean? Even for me, sometimes a task takes longer than what I expected. Sometimes things come up, I can't do it. It's an unexpected meeting or a phone call or something, right? Power goes off, computer turns off, I can't do anything else. So, whatever you can't get done today, schedule it for tomorrow. Or better yet, whatever you don't get done this week, schedule it for the following week. Give yourself some room. Give yourself room for error. What I find super helpful is, you schedule your individual tasks for the day, but really you have an overall goal that you want to accomplish this by the end of the week. You want to accomplish X, Y, and Z by the end of the week, whatever the end of the week is for you. So again, whatever I don't get done on Monday, it gets pushed to Tuesday. What I don't get done on Tuesday is on Wednesday, etc., etc. And my goal, what I'm striving for, is by the end of the week, I've accomplished all the tasks I need to get done. What I don't get done, I push to next week. I add it to the next week's task. Alright, so I'm saying this to you so that, again, I don't want you to beat yourself up. Don't stress out if you don't get certain accomplishments done. Now, keep in mind, if you have deadlines, if you have things that take priority, make sure those get done as soon as possible. Those you definitely don't want to push off and procrastinate and have them late. Scheduled so you make sure those get done as soon as you possibly can. A lot of people like to focus on, what's the most important task that you need to get done. Focus on that during the day, and then it's, okay, so what's the sort of second most important thing, and then etc., etc., etc. Alright, that's it. I hope this video helped you out, and if it did, Give this a thumbs up, share this to other filmmakers so that this benefits them as well. And remember, subscribe down below because we post every single week. Adventure videos, production vlogs, tips, everything to help you filmmakers to have a successful career and make great movies. Alright, so best of luck. Let me know your tips on how to create a balanced work-life schedule in the comments. I'm very curious to hear your responses, and I will join you as well. So, best of luck, have a great week, rest well, and I'll see you next time.